Hello, my wonderful subs. So, a bit of a change of pace. I like to change things up from time to time on my channel. I'm not one of these people who's going to talk about the same thing for every podcast, for every video. My channel is about diversity. I like to talk about versatile topics, versatile subjects. The theme running through my channel is human behavior. I've covered the World Cup on this channel and sports. I've done cooking and food tips. I've done body language and personality analysis traits. I've done the English language. I've done accents. I've done a lot of educational things on my channel. I've done a bit of this, a bit of that. I've done quite a few cases, and this is the one that really fascinates me. For all of those who are really fascinated or intrigued or interested in the Idaho case, well, I have to be honest with you. This case interests me far more than the Idaho case, and it's probably because the person in question is a female, and she is another Jodi Arias, and like many of the females before her, I see all of that in her body language, and this case has many layers to it, and it's very, very fascinating. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I also think, innocent until proven otherwise. But a lot came out in that hearing that I watched with my mother yesterday. I introduced my mother to this case. Like I said, I'm highly, highly intrigued by it. We're going to find out a lot more information as time goes by. But we found out a lot in this hearing, and it's very much looking like she did what they claim she did. But not just that, her body language speaks volumes. She clearly looked like somebody who was sitting there not believing that she'd actually been caught. That's how she looked. She looked very much like the person that they were describing who did all these things. The first thing I noticed about Richins is that her attire, she was very, aside from her, or in contrast to her glossy image, as this author who'd overcome something challenging in her life, she was very understated. Her dress was very modest in the courtroom. Her style of attire, her style of dress was very modest. Hair tied back, very little to no makeup, a simple white shirt. And that tells me that she was trying to influence, or somebody in her corner was trying to influence the jury, or not the jury because the jury's not really there yet, was trying to influence the courtroom, the judge, because obviously this is actually not the trial as yet, by wearing this very kind of modest, or portraying herself as this kind of modest woman just sitting there innocently. But her body language and facial expressions, to me, and this can be interpreted in different ways. I am not a body language expert, and my mother interpreted her body language slightly differently to how I interpreted her body language until she got to find out more information. And later on, my mum said, you're right. She looks, and this is what I said, she looks like somebody who's been caught. All of her deeds are being spoken, have come out. Everything's been spoken in the open, out in the open. And she has to sit there and listen to what she's done. And obviously this is all allegedly, but I believe that we are getting close to the truth. And I believe that they must have something to have her sitting there in a hearing. And as she's sitting there listening to people talking about her, in definitely not in a positive way, but in a more negative way, she has to sit there and listen. And her body language and facial expressions tell me that she's thinking to herself, oh my goodness, I thought I'd got away with this. And here I am sitting here, and I'm actually exposed for who I really am. That's what she's saying to herself in a roundabout way. Maybe there's a little bit of denial there, but I think that's basically what happened. She realizes that the gig is up. Is it the jig is up or the gig is up? I say both. Sometimes I say the gig, and her gig really is up. It seems to me, like in many cases, the motivation here is money. There's multiple life insurance policies. There's cashing in on this book deal. And her husband's sister spoke at the hearing, and I thought that she was very, very powerful in portraying the type of person that this lady is. I found her statement to be very revealing of Kouri, and it just seems to me that everything, the root of everything is to cash in and get money. And like I said, for many cases, that is the root of the motive. I think it was for in cases such as the Menendez brothers, for example, and that is a completely different topic, but they got a huge inheritance. And so she got a lot of. I think she purchased a $2 million home, and also after she became a widow, she apparently took down all the photographs of her husband. And it seems that somebody that she employed, or her and her husband employed, was a middleman to go and get these. What would I call it? Basically, someone was buying for her in order for her to give this to her husband. So it seems to me that there was definitely a lot going on. Also, there were a lot of searches on her computer, on her laptop, either her computer or laptop, that were very, very suggestive of who she is. So there is a lot going on here. And guess who I came across as I was in the live stream at the hearing? Kelly the advocate, who a lot of people call Avocado. I said hello to her and she responded. And I hope Kelly comes back and does some video, because I've got nothing, I don't want any, I don't have any issue with Kelly. I hope she's doing well. And it was nice to actually see her in that live stream. And I did say hello to her and she did respond very favorably. So, we're civil towards each other. But this case is really, really hotting up. Really, really, very much so. Not long ago, Kouri Richins did an interview with Saray Chin and Dina Manzanares on Good Things Utah. And they actually said that she didn't come across as particularly warm. They felt she was a bit rigid, a bit cold, a bit contrived. And probably very flat in her affect during her interview. They didn't say all these things, but that's the vibe that I get from what they have said about the interview. And, she wrote this book about her husband and dealing with challenges in life and loss and all that kind of stuff. Are You With Me? And it was a successful book. And, she actually said, Kouri said that she wrote the book with her children and to help others and to help her children. And I think during that interview, somebody sent them a message about Kouri Richins saying, she's not all that she seems, something to that effect. And, it's very interesting how things have spiraled since then.